Talking to the author of Obamanomics. Priya, hi there. Are his ideas getting much credence then with the US public?
Hi there, Kevin. Well, I think more and more Americans are becoming increasingly dissatisfied and anxious over the way President Obama is dealing with the economy. And joining me to help discuss that is author and columnist Timothy Carney. Timothy, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
So first of all, I want to ask you, today the Obama administration announced that they're going to extend that $700 billion bailout until next year. But at the same time, President Obama is also saying that the economy is getting better, unemployment is down. So what's the point of extending the bailout then?
Unfortunately, sometimes it's hard to know because there's a layer of, there's sort of a veil of secrecy to some extent, just as there's always been. The clubbiness between Wall Street and the White House has continued into the Obama administration. The sort of Goldman Sachs White House revolving door of the Bush administration has continued now. So we know that the bankers are in there. We know the White House people are in there. As far as what's going on at these banks, we don't know. As far as what's going on with the bailout money, we don't know. So it's hard to tell. There's this veil of secrecy over the bailout money.
And you know, the Obama administration is also saying that, you know, if that bailout hadn't happened last year, things would be in much worse shape right now. I mean, what do you think about that?
I mean, this is sort of a standard line. This is what Obama says about the stimulus. It's what he and Bush both say about the bailout. I don't think there's any evidence to support that. I mean, we saw that lending, that was a big thing, to free up lending. Lending did not turn around right away after the bailout money. There's been some improvement, but I think largely it was about saving banks. So yes, things would have been much worse for a Goldman Sachs or for Bank of America without the bailout. Would have been broadly worse for the economy. I'm not sure. And we've seen that in the long run, bailouts, they create moral hazard, they prop up failing companies. There's long run damage that we haven't seen yet to the bailouts.
So what's the way out of this mess? I mean, what's the answer right now?
Yeah, well, one of the problems is that we aren't letting failed enterprises fail, and we're not letting the free market work its way. I don't think that's Obama's style, unfortunately, is to let the free market work its way. He's into picking winners and losers, but I think government needs to stop picking winners and losers. Bush did it, now Obama's doing it. Maybe soon they'll learn from their lesson that it doesn't work.
And you know, President Obama is saying that he's cutting taxes and helping small businesses. I mean, is he doing those things, and are they working? I mean, what's he doing wrong?
Well, to help small business, he's talking about more government loans to small business. But the best way to help small business is to lower the regulatory burden, lower the tax burden that falls on them, because they can't comply with the regulations in the way that the bigger companies can. And so giving more government loans to small businesses comes with more regulations. It's an added burden. The real secret is get government out of the way from the real engine of job creation, which is new businesses and small businesses.
And so I think one of the big questions here is, what's going to happen if the government doesn't stop printing money and increasing the budget deficit?
Well, it's really worrisome that how are we going to pay off the money we've borrowed for the Wall Street bailout and for the stimulus? Are we just going to borrow again? Eventually we print money. The Federal Reserve created money out of thin air. We didn't even print bills to do the Wall Street bailout. This is going to lead to higher interest rates. This is going to lead to inflation unless the economy really turns around. And so that's sort of what the Obama administration is doing now, holding their breath, hoping there's enough economic growth to offset the inflation and the high interest rates. But if this little gambit doesn't work out, there's going to be lots of pain. Obama might not be president anymore by then, but the rest of the economy will feel a pinch there.
Well, Timothy, thank you so much for joining me. Kevin, that's all the time we have for now. I'll be back here in just a little while for another live update, but for now, it's back to you.
Looking forward to it. And hey, before you go, Priya, just reminding our viewers, of course, that all the input we get from the Washington, D.C. studio, so much of it, it's always put on our YouTube page as well, so our viewers can have their say about the stories that you're covering for us. It's good stuff. Thank you.